Okay, here we will create our dummy data. You see that, for example, for dates, look what I did, what I do. We said that this is, that this is the um, general format of date, like year, month, and day. And then I'm having plus sample because the date in R is stored as the number of days from 1st of January 1970. This gives me, this generates random days from that 15 January, okay? So you see, for example, I will add 17 days, 41 days, 57 days to the date that is mentioned in on the screen. Then I'm using the sample. So here I will actually do 20 random samples of these 5 products. Okay, so if, for example, I only launch this. So you see, I have to do the replace true. That means the replace true means that I can take the same value out of the vector, okay? Out of the vector. So that means that the values can duplicate. Without this, I will get an error. Look, if I go here and say replace false, I will get an error because I want to have 20 different 20 rows, but I say to him, no, if you once choose one value, this value cannot appear anymore. And of course, I get error. That's why I have to go with replace true. So you know what this means? Products in. What is the same function in Python? Which a Python application is dollar in dollar? It starts with the letter I. Is in. Remember? Is in, and then we have to use the list. Okay? Square brackets. Are you already done with the project? So most of you already uploaded. As I saw that I've seen previous. I mean, like half an hour ago, that there were like 18 projects were uploaded.
Professor, sorry to interrupt. I'm facing little difficulties to make it in PDF. I don't know why it is not capturing everything. So, what
Mm,
you want? Okay, should I submit the Jupyter notebook file or?
I mean, yeah, the time. I mean, there is a, like due time due. So okay. I mean, I don't. I mean, there will be, of course, some difficulties because you are beginners, but learning by doing is the only way.
No, 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 no. I'm asking that the Python project, the Jupyter file, when taking the PDF, no, it is not capturing everything. Like
Oh,
last few points. I don't know what.
you mean the print
Yeah, yeah, the print. I have trying with the customs and other things, but it is not
in
working.
VS
So
Code? Do you try this? Have you tried this in VS Code?
I am doing some. Okay, I'll try in VS Code
In
once
VS Code,
right
it
now.
will work. In VS Code, you have many extensions that will actually export this to HTML to PDF without any problems. I said to you, if you're using print, yes, print is sometimes doesn't really work, especially if you know like the margins. This can be problematic when you specify this, let's say, virtual printer PDF. Um, so it's not the best way. That's why I say to students usually, when you're confident enough, switch to VS Code. There you have the extensions. You can use the extensions to export your projects. I mean, definitely VS Code is the way to go.
Okay,
Even
sure.
here,
We'll try.
even here probably in Positron, because all the, see, I could say, okay, you know the Quarto, okay? So one option is to just copy the code in Quarto and render it in PDF. That's one possibility. You know, when you go to Quarto, for example, say a new file, you say Quarto document, and when you have here insert code cell, you can just specify here, you see, what you want to actually, which language. And if you have Python, just Python, and you work with Python then in Quarto. This would be probably the most elegant solution. Uh, Google Colab, yes, it's meant for like when students first, uh, for students who didn't see Python and they actually are afraid of installing Python by themselves, you know, because this can be overwhelming, you know, like going vanilla installation, Anaconda installation, and it can be like, look, when I started, I really understand you because when I first did it, I didn't have any clues what the hell is going on. You know, like Anaconda installed like 5 GB or even more. I don't know how much it consumes now. I didn't know anything. Then I missed, you know, like because the Conda, Anaconda, uses instead of pip, it uses Conda. So you say conda install and the name of a package, not pip, because pip will install the package from the vanilla or this ecosystem, and the conda will install a package from the Anaconda ecosystem. And then if you start like mixing them, you quickly come to the problem uh, where the versions actually conflict each other. So that's why you cannot mix it, okay? You cannot mix it. But we are now at R. R is a little bit more flexible regarding this, um, but it has other downsides, okay? Okay, so we have now we created our data set, okay? This is now a completely random data set. We can, of course, I can, of course, make it like 100 or 120 so that it will be, let's say, more. Okay, so quantity will be from 1 to 100 and 120 and 120. Okay, so now I just increased the sample size of my data frame to 120. Why still showing me here? Oh, it's head. Okay, of course, yeah. Otherwise, it is, if I look at the glimpse, okay, so you see I have 7 columns and 120 rows. So like this, I created sample data on which I can train. Of course, you have this like uh, already prepared data and saved data sets in R, or the option is to go in the Claude Code. You will have in the Claude Code Opus Sonnet 4.5 because if you don't have a payable version, the Opus 4.5 is not accessible to you. This one is really the best for coding. So here I would say prepare a code that will generate a proper data frame in R with 500 rows, and it will deal with sales by category, by product, by region, by subcategory, by salesman within 2 years. And of course, my whisper was not on. Okay, is it now on? Whisper. Okay, again. Prepare me the R data frame code for our data, creating our data frame with at least 500 rows. Let me see if it will, okay. The columns have to represent the salesperson, the year, the category, the product, the units, the regions, product category, and subcategory. Now create the code to generate this programmatically. And I will use this code in my positron. Ah, Postgres, positron. Sometimes, okay, stop. Okay. So now Claude Code actually will open. Sometimes it opens Python, sometimes it opens R. Depends on what you are trying to do. Okay. So now probably this is too big for chat. Let me see. Yeah, too big. Okay, so now I will just show it to you. Positron. I will put it right behind here and sales data F. Okay, so I have it. You see? So this is now a really comprehensive. If I just say glimpse, Okay, I'm still having caps lock. Glimpse and sales DF. Okay. Voila. 500 rows. I have everything. So now this can be a really good data set, like to test everything that you do. Because what? Empty cars has only 32 rows. Iris has only 4 columns. Then you have air quality has only 6 columns. Um, you don't have any, let's say, comprehensive uh, data set like this. Here I could add another column and that I would use this for data mining, for example. Like bike buyer. If a person, I don't know, maybe this would be uh, something the product, if it buys a product, I would add another column and try to do a data mining application. So that's it. So now I generated, okay? Here we're going with 120 rows. You know that nested functions are really not that much readable and understandable. So if I would show it, write it to you like this, probably you would say, wow, 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 what is this? Okay. That's why we have the pipe operator. And again, please switch to the new pipe operator. Don't use the old one. Are you using the new one? Who uses new ones now? Probably Elise.
Yes.
Okay. Who else? No one. Switch to new one.
Which one you are asking about?
So this one, not
Okay.
not that one. Why? Because this is the dependent. This will not work if you will not install the tidyverse. This one is a native. Okay, so definitely this is the way how you write the code, and it's much more clear readable. So you understand, okay, we are taking the sales data frame, we do the filter. As I mentioned before, when you load tidyverse, again, I will load it here and see whether I will get the no, no warnings this time. So there is a conflict between the filter methods, filter functions and the select functions. So if you want to be sure, always write this. That means take the filter function out of this package, dplyr. Is this clear? We talked about this. Okay, so this is basic filtering. And of course, you have these operators that are known to you, equal to, not equal, greater than, equal or greater than, and so on. What you don't know probably is how you specify the end condition. So you went with this syntax, weren't you? This was your syntax, and. Was it? You can omit this. So if you're using just and, you can just go with comma. You just list. You just list the conditions. You don't have to use the and operator, comma, and list them. And that's it. Like in this case, you see, it works the same, okay? For or operator, you have to use pipe. There is no other way. So you have to use the pipe operator. So if I would say or instead of this one, it is a pipe. You know this. You probably already talked about this. So the pipe operator, okay? Do you agree? Can you confirm? Okay. Mm. When you are having more than one or, so if you are having two or more or conditions, then you switch to the in. In SQL, this is not true because if you want to really optimize your query, then you have to sometimes still, like hash a little, I mean, hack the code, but otherwise, this is, equal to this. Okay, so you see how much more code I have to written to actually specify what I could do only in is in. Okay, have you used the in operator?
Yes, used.
Yes.
Okay, you did. So it's very simple. You just specify the vector of all possible values that a certain variable can have. Okay. Mm. Now we will do a little bit, we will devote a little bit of time to regular expressions. You already know some of them, but let's dive into them a little bit more. Okay, so here we are using str starts. That is a function from the stringer package. Okay, so stringer package in tidyverse deals with string operations. Lubridate, as the name implies, deals with what? Lubridate package in tidyverse. Dates. Okay, lubridate dates. Then you have for cats is for nominal, for factors. Every time that you are in doubt, just go to tidyverse. These are the essential packages of tidyverse. See, for cats, lubridate, stringer. So what is here actually in different packages is in Python in pandas. Okay, only in one library. I don't know if this is okay or not. I still prefer tidyverse against pandas. But yeah, okay, so you can, for example, say that no, tidyverse is then more extensive if you compare to pandas because it has ggplot too. Pandas has very limited capabilities of producing the charts. So yeah. Okay. Any questions regarding until now? No. So str starts is pretty much self-explanatory. Self-explanatory. Okay. So all the products that starts with the letter P, the capital letter, and this one that contains. So detect means that contains. So it can be at the beginning, at the end, or in the middle. It just has to be there. The letter A. So will this, for example, detect the product with a small p that starts with a small p, letter P?
No, professor.
No, of course not. So that's why I suggest you that you put this str to lower of a product. Okay, so that means that first it will transform all the upper cases into lower cases, but only in the filter operation. So this will be not permanently, okay? So this will not be stored uh, in your data frame, just for the time of operation is the letter P. Or if you want to show the world that you understand the regular expressions, you could also say, write this. You don't believe me? Look, I will write here. Okay. What is the actually the regular expression symbol for the beginning of the letter? For the beginning of the word? Don't you remember? Professor Barash probably showed you this.
Would you please repeat the questions?
This one.
Oh, to write the comment.
No, that one. You see?
Okay.
For the beginning of the word. So what does that mean? If I, for example, create here a vector, I will say, okay, apple, banana, grape. Okay, now I will say paper, paper. Okay, then I will add them more. Okay, so this is our vector. Chat. Okay. Now we will use the str detect from the stringer package. Okay, this means contains. This is contains str detect. Okay, I will say here a result and str detect. Okay. So what am I doing here? Okay, this regular expression. What does this regular expression say?
It's going to
No.
select a vector which starts with P.
Yes.
Anything that starts with P, begins with P.
Yes. Yes. Anything that starts with P. And then we don't care. So do you think that the paper will be in our result set?
No.
The small one that starts with lowercase p.
Oh, okay. Let's say here paper 2. Okay. I will say paper 2. So that's when I will, yeah. And I will do, I will add here, okay, vector result like this, okay? Okay, so this, I have a little bit of problems. Let me just add this and this so that I get rid of the code here. Okay. So, okay, so I get peer and paper. No paper too. Okay, so again, as I mentioned to you before, I can say here str2 lower. Uh, Now I got it. It's because I changed everything to a small capital, okay? But I don't use this, okay? I usually just go and in the square brackets, you can specify all the options that element can have. Okay, so now I have set to str detect. Look at the small and the upper. Okay, str detect. Okay. Now you see, I also got back That one, paper 2. In square bracket, you list all the possible all the possible elements, uh, strings, digits. For example, if I would add here like 0, 1, paper. Okay, let me go like this. Paper. Okay, so you see this one is now not in, but if I say here 0, what am I doing here? Okay. I get it. You see, because I added, okay, also 0. Is this clear? How do I negate this? Okay, so now this is like I specify which should be. How do I do the negation of this? You won't believe it, but the negation, let me copy. Negation is that I'm using again caret operator inside, okay? So now this is the negation. No, not that one, the other one. Okay, sorry. That one is the negation of what follows inside of this brackets, okay? The negation. So now I say, show me all the elements that do not start with a small p, upper P, or 0. You see? This is the result. Is this clear? Then you have a special sign, $sign, which means at the end. So you talked about this at the regular expressions, the $sign.
Yeah, I guess yes.
Okay. So if I now say, I would like, okay, on R. So that means show me all elements that end, okay, let me go with the small r, that end with the small r. Okay, peer and paper. Again, I can do the same logic. Okay, I can specify here, okay, all the possible options like before 0, okay? So I have no 0, I have 2, okay, in this case. So I specified, show me the elements that end with these symbols, characters. Okay, so you see this one, this one, this one, and this one. And again, I can do the negation. I can just say they cannot end on this. Okay? So we have apple, banana, avocado, and grape. So see, again, just negating in square brackets. Okay, so do you understand the concept of this? Okay, let's go to the second part. So now we know beginning, end, and possible options and negating the possible options. Now we'll get two wild cards. Wild cards. Okay, I will okay. The first one will be dot. Okay, so what do you know about dot in a regular expression? Me- Is any character one time, okay? So that you will not one time. And I'm shouting now because I'm using the uppercase. That means one time. So if I write you, okay, so what do I have? So let me give you an example. Okay. Like I will say, hey, Xu Wenting. What does this extract?
The element in the vector start with a smaller a and whatever character and p.
So that means that the P has to be the third character.
Yes.
Yes, correct. It's apple. Okay. Let me add additional one. Okay, Luis, do we, in this case, do we
Yes.
specify the length of the element? Are we limiting the end of the element here?
I think yeah, we should.
No, but with this code. So do we say that this has to be three-letter element? Yes or no?
I would, yeah.
Ne? No. So it actually means the first one has to be A. Then it can be anything, okay? Then it has to be P, and then it says we don't care about what comes next. Okay? We are
Okay.
not limiting. What about now? Xiong Chao Chuan Lin.
Yes.
What about now? What are we doing now?
Uh, we select that the first element is A,
Yes? And?
and the second and the third is random.
Yes. And what else? We are doing something else here. So is and after the two dots, is it still we don't care what comes next, or is it something else?
Something else.
And what is this something else? Okay, I will not torture you anymore, but it starts with the letter A. then it can be anything, and then it can be anything. So we are limiting also the length of the word in this case. It has to start with A, and it has to have precisely 3 characters. But the first one has to be A. Only app. Because we are using the $sign here. Is this clear?
Sorry, sir, I have a question.
Yes.
I didn't understand the first example you used with the A and dot and P. I didn't understand quite well what it meant.
You meant this one?
Yes, so it has to start with the letter A
Yes.
and then.
This one means any character. It can be anything, but only one. You know, like it's not like
Oh, yeah.
it can be like whatever we want. No, only one.
Okay. And then the P is like it has to.
The third one has to be the letter P.
Oh, okay.
And then
And then the rest
we
are-
don't care here. We don't care. It can be anything.
Okay, thank you.
And if I would use this app and then put the $sign, then I
It
would
means
say it
end
has
with
to
P.
start with the letter A, has to end with the letter P, and it has to have precisely 3 characters long.
Okay, thank you.
Do you understand now?
Yes, I understand. Man. Thank you.
So it's only app. Now I will say, I will call our beautiful AI and say, I will dictate, generate a vector with elements so that I will be able to practice more advanced regular expressions like using groups and the curly brackets for repeating, and that's it. And apparently the whisper didn't work again. Create vector with elements for practicing regular expressions in R, more advanced, like wildcards, groups, and okay. Well, it takes some time. Oh. Wow, that will be good. Great. Copy, and I will also give it to you. And close it, and I will use it here. Ooh. Run cells, okay. So how would I get back all the elements that ends with the digits? Digit. Still detect. Okay. So, do you remember this syntax? Digits? Do you remember this? Okay. Yeah, I don't know why I have to always run the whole cell. Okay, no, not really. This one closes str detect. Okay, see, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Yes, Sonak, yes. What about the 2 digits that ends with 2 digits? Like this.
Inside the curly bracket, we can put 2, right?
Okay, so here you see this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Okay, now I will present you with 2 wildcards. The first one is the asterisk. That means 0 or many. The other one is plus. One or many. What does that mean? For example, I will go here. Let me see it like this. Okay. Okay, let's go with here, okay? Okay. So A, and then I will say this one and B. What do you think this will return? Okay, I will just execute. This will return, so it will find A in our elements, and then it can be anything. So it will find A and B, and then anything that can be between. We don't care. It can be like AB, for example, is the smallest one, the shortest one, okay? This is the shortest one that is possible, where this one says no 0, okay? 0. So AB is the smallest one. Detect, do you agree? And then it can be anything between A and B. A, B. We don't really care. But if we would use a plus sign, what is the shortest possible combination? Is AB legit?
No, it's not.
It's not. Why? Because it has to be at least one. So the AB is not possible. Okay? So you see here, don't think that this one actually said that it was true. No, it was this one. Here, this one, the furthest. Okay? We have also then the lazy operators, but I will not talk about this. So that it takes the first one. Here it goes to the widest possible solution. So this one means plus. Okay, now I will ask give me 3 exercises without solutions to practice wildcards in regular expressions. Okay. Okay, let's my cursor is here and like this, close. Okay, so we have, let me copy. We were not replacing this. Replace me. Okay. Like this. So the first one is, it says variety that matches exactly 3 characters strings. Okay, how would you do this? So it matches exactly 3 character strings. Valentin.
We use the beginning sign first and then 3 point and then dollars.
Exactly. Exactly. So we should go, pattern should be like this, and then str detect one, and then I would say beginning, 3 dots, and ending. Exactly 3 characters. Do you understand this?
I have a question, sorry,
Yes.
about that. Do we have to put like the dollar sign at the end and the thing at the beginning? We can't just put 3 dots.
No, because if you put 3 dots, that would mean practically anything.
Oh yeah,
Because if we don't specify the beginning and the end, that means like we don't care plus 3 dots, I mean whatever, plus we don't care.
oh yeah, okay.
Okay, so it can be anything.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the second one is this was exercise. No, exercise here. It's now please. Malo, how would you do the second one? Okay, now Tingy cow.
Yes, I am.
Okay,
So
how would you?
the star sign and followed by the report dash, and
Yes.
also whatever inside, and
Okay, so it can be dot and asterisk,
yes,
and
we have to escape character with the dot and the
yes.
txt and followed by the dollar sign.
Great, exactly like this. Why do we have to escape the dot? Okay, so Aya, because dot is a reserved keyword and it means anything.
Okay.
But if we want to target dot as a dot, not dot as a wildcard, okay? Dot, literally dot. So if we are searching the dot inside of a character, we have to provide escape. So that means search for a dot as a dot, not as a
Oh yes, as anything. Okay.
yes. Okay, that's why we had to do this. Okay, so that means start with report, then anything, and then here the dollar sign that it ends with this. Okay, so detect. See, true, false. So first, these are okay, then the other ones are false. And the last one, before we'll have a break. So its pet is, I will just go samples and it say, says samples. So variety that matches US style 10-digit phone numbers allowing common separators, space, hyphen, and dot, or no separators, and that matches the entire string. Okay. So this one is, yeah, okay. This one is too advanced, but yeah, this would be probably the samples is not, okay. Okay, the first one is true. I don't know why. Okay, first one is true. Yes. The second one also. That one is false, and then also the last one is true with dots. Okay. I mean, this one is a little bit advanced because also the brackets are special characters in regular expressions. You create groups. This one is lazy operator. Otherwise, okay. I think that we deserve a break for 15 minutes. What do you think? Okay. Recording. Okay. So this is it regarding the regular expressions. I will not go any further with you because I mean there are still a lot of topics to actually that we could cover, but you have enough online possibilities to actually try yourself. This is just one of them. For example, see, you could try and test your knowledge here. This is just one of the web pages, so it's not really nothing special, okay? But it's a very powerful, the regular expression. By the way, for example, the Claude Code, when it programs, also uses the regular expression to search for I don't know, for some keywords. So it is really, really very powerful regular expressions. Now let's talk about a little bit about select. Okay, so this is it. With select, the exclude columns, you already covered this. You told me that. But what I know that you don't know is reordering columns, okay? Control Alt, this doesn't work here. So Control Shift I, okay. Let's say that we have empty cars, which is pretty simple. Empty cars, come on, empty cars. Okay. And you see the columns. For example, now I give you the task that you should only select, okay, where are you? Here. That you should only select these columns. What would be the simplest way to do it? Or my question is, how would you do it? Chain He. How would you select those columns?
Hi, Professor. We should use bracket and quotation mark.
Why?
It's a data frame.
Yes, a data frame, okay. Then we'll go with select. So how would you now select all these columns? What? You would probably write this one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one, okay? So this is the way. Would you do it like this?
Or we can say, don't select the other four.
That's true. But still, you would have to write quite a code. But what about if I would just able to say, select everything from DISP to AM, like this. And this is it. Okay, you see? Simple as cake. Sometimes you will also be wanting to relocate. What if I want now to place miles per gallon as the last column in this data frame? Carol, how would you now place m miles per gallon as the last column in this data frame?
Repeat, please.
How would you now write the select statement that the miles per gallon would be the last column?
I would have wrote select
Yes.
MPG to cow.
Hmm.
I don't know
Okay,
how to
one
say.
version would be, for example, you would say from cylinders to carburetor,
Yeah.
and then comma and miles per gallon. Okay, this is cylinders. What do you say? Carburetor, carb, and then miles per gallon. So this is one option. It's not the best one. That's why you have the relocate verb, where you say, I want to place miles per gallon dot after carburetor, like this. This is the way. Argument X is missing. Empty cars after carb. Okay, maybe it wants. No. Okay, it chose. No, it's from previous. I don't see any error. This is the error from. Oh, this one was missing. Okay. So you see, miles per gallon is now after. I could also say before. Now it's here, before this one. So this is the way how you can easily relocate columns in tidyverse. Is this clear? We already talked about this one, renaming while selecting. Do you remember this? We did use this last time that we did scrapping 100 highest buildings. And while selecting, we already renamed the columns. So sometimes this is really, really useful. Yes?
Professor, can we use alias also in the select statement, or is this is the only way for the renaming it?
I mean, no, you have the rename verb. You know that you have rename verb. For
Okay.
example, I mean, this is probably the most elegant way while you are selecting. But you could also, of course, I mean, the rename is like sales, and then I would say rename. Again, you see, I'm using the same. So here I'm not selecting, here I'm only renaming. This is the difference. So for example, here, you see, I'm getting back all columns. I just renamed some of them. This one gives me back only 3 columns, but they are also renamed. Okay. You mean like aliases like in Python?
No, in SQL.
Oh, SQL. Oh, select that one as. I mean, so this is actually it. Just that in select in SQL you could just write product as product name. You know that you can use the SQLite in R. You have a whole library also called R SQLite package. And you can do everything that you, this is like you see. Okay. Then okay, we have another option using where. I will now use iris dataset. So I will say select where is numeric. So I am only selecting the columns that are numeric. And then I could just say, I don't know if I have this package installed. No, but also it has to be the core function. No, I don't have that package. Okay, let me just it's only core then. Maybe it's only core. Yeah, only core. So you see, I selected all the numeric and did immediately the correlation. And you know how to interpret these results? Probably yes, because you already had data mining where you did this. Did you do the correlation data mining?
We used correlation.
Yes, as the pre-selection before you did go further with more advanced methods. Probably, I'm guessing. Okay, so where is numeric? The code will still work like this, but you will get a warning because this is not anymore the correct syntax from the version 1.1. Okay, then in the past, this is again superseded. You could go like iris and then select if is numeric. Okay, so this also still works is dot numeric. This also still works, but this behavior is, this function is superseded. Okay, this is superseded. If you go and look at the question mark, you see it's superseded. Are you familiar with these life cycles? So you have, okay, open. Okay. So superseded means that you have a stable function that works instead of superseded. That doesn't mean that you cannot use it anymore. This is not deprecated. So if you have a deprecated, that means that in the future, this function will stop to exist. So if you have any legacy code that still uses deprecated functions, it will stop working in a few, let's say in 2 or 3 years. On the other hand, you have the experimental features that still are in the process of development. Okay, they are not stable. You also have the mature. Somewhere it has to be the mature. Previously we used for function to lay somewhere between experimental and stable. Yeah, stage, because like questioning it's not clear what. Okay, I know that some of the so you see superseded stages. Okay, so they are not used anymore. So I remember sometimes like seeing maturing in the past. Always, if you are not sure, I mean, I'm trying to give you the latest possible syntax, okay, which will be definitely up to date and it will be not deprecated. We will see that in a few moments, what I mean by that, okay? Always look at the function if you're using, well, this is only for the tidyverse, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, tidyverse lifecycle, only for tidyverse, because the base R functions will stay as they are. They will stay as they are, okay? So if you're going with the base R, then it's okay. With the tidyverse, you have to see where they are. For example, I know that once I search for what separate rows, you will see that separate rows. Okay. You see, it's superseded. I know because it's now this one. If it's superseded, it's okay, you can still use it. But you see, this one is now separate longer the limb. I know that because once I used this, let's say, not that common, and I didn't remember the syntax. I went and asked for the separate rows, and so they replaced it with a new one, and it's that one. Okay. You use the separate rows, if I'm not mistaken. Yes? Okay. So this is select numeric. Then you will also have two newer versions of selecting columns. This is especially useful when you're doing something dynamically. And I'm using this quite a lot, if to be honest. Like usually already I have this now I did create it, but for the need of doing different analysis for journal articles, master thesis and PhD thesis where they hired me, I created a bunch of functions and then I dynamically call them. Like I said, use this and this and this column. So I can do this dynamically. It was possible also prior this function, but it was very clumsy. So you have two special functions for selecting any of and all of. You can already expect what they do. So we go any of. That means this one will return existing columns from a vector. It will not give you an error if the columns are missing. Okay. So if I go with if I say columns to select, okay, now I have you see AI is really helping me out. So I have this one and that one, they do exist. Of course, this one is not existing. And if I say then iris like this one, you see? I'm saying any of, okay? It will return the two columns. This one that exists. If I will say all of, it will give me an error. Because in all of, they both had to be, all the columns have to be present. This is the difference. And really, I use this a lot. And this one is not that, all of and any of is not that old feature. Okay. Okay, it doesn't say when it actually became available. No. Oh. Okay. Is this clear? Please, students, here you have always, I give you exercises. Okay, always do exercises. If you will not practice, because now you are getting so much information, and if you will not practice, you will forget. You will forget like it didn't exist. I mean, that you didn't participate at these lectures. Please exercise. The mutate, you are familiar with the mutate. You also did this with Professor Balash, am I right? Okay. Very simple. You create what you can do with mutate. Noah, what can you do with the mutate? What is the primary focus of the mutate?
If I remember well, it's to replace, for example, to transform numerical or.
Well, the primary focus is to create the calculated column. Okay, you create a new column based on some operation. For example, in our case, we have a total revenue. New column is created based on the product on quantity and unit price. Okay, so you all agree with this. So this is the primary objective of the mutate. And you can, in the same mutate, that is a beauty, in the same mutate operation verb, I can already, for example, say total revenue. Okay, like this one. I can already reference to the column that was just created. So you see? And let me add. Ah. Okay, come on, what? Doesn't work. Total. USD, okay? So immediately I can reference the total revenue. This was just created in the same mutate. So I don't have to, like again, like this one, and then say, okay, and go again, mutate. And do this. No, in a one. Okay, this is beauty. Okay, also you can create more than one calculated column. That's something very, you can modify existing columns. For example, I can put everything to upper. In this case, you see? Not only that, you can also do what? You can say product, okay, so unit price, you could say as character, for example. It doesn't make any sense, but you can change the data type of a column. Now this is a character. Doesn't make any sense, but yeah. If else, have you mentioned if else?
Yes,
Okay.
we used it.
So when is if else handy? Is if else handy when you have like three conditions?
Yeah, to checking the conditions.
Yeah, to checking, but is it handy? If I would have another condition, okay, let's create a dummy condition.
If it is multiple conditions, then we can use loop.
If else, it's only okay when you have one condition. Because in the moment you have more than one condition, so like in this case we have quantity, so we only have true and false, so two outcomes. If I say here if else and say quantity is, let's say, okay, so apparently I cannot. I don't know why it's again always not saving. Control C. Wow, something happened on. Okay, then I will write it. Quantity, let's say greater than 10. So then I have here yes. I will say here. Okay, this will be yes. This one will be maybe. Then I have to close the inner one and also specify the action for the outer one. Now just imagine adding more. Like here I would add if else, I would say quantity less than 15, I would say yes. Okay, more maybe. Then I would have to close this was this the inner one. Then maybe I close that one, yeah, and that one closes that one. Okay, I hope that this works. Let me see. Okay, it works. I would have to probably say 30 and 50, okay, so that I would get like this, okay? Would you say that this is practical?
Not really.
I agree with you. I agree with you. This is this was also the same as in Excel where you have the if function, and when you nested if function, it was at the end it was disaster. Okay, so that's why Excel provided us with the ifs function. In that case, I would go with the case when. So the syntax is very simple. Oh, now let me see if this will work. Copy. Apparently, I clicked something. I had no idea what, so I can not paste. with shortcuts. Okay, so how would I do this with case when? First, I have to call case when. That is just like in SQL. Do you remember case when? Okay, case underscore when. The first one would be if quantity. Okay, it's already written now. Now let's we don't less than 5 no. And this is not, you see, now the AI is not doing this okay. This is not okay. This is overwhelming. Okay. Definitely I would start from up towards the bottom. I would start with greater than 50. Okay, now will it crash? Okay. I would start with the inner, which is greater than 50, okay? And I will say yes. So if this condition is false, what can we already assume? If this condition is false, what can we already assume? Do we need to specify? Okay. Do we need to specify this? Come on. No, something is wrong with my positron today. See, yes, show me. Okay, just look, I cannot touch it. Do you think that this is necessary to write it like this? Christelle, do you think this is necessary?
Maybe too long.
Okay,
So
try to answer me from the point of view of logic.
so if it's more than 50, it's yes.
Yes.
Even if it's no.
Okay, so if we have only if it is larger than 50. So if it is true, then it will be yes. Okay, so the second part would be, is quantity larger than 30? Do we need to add the and quantity less than 50? Less than or equal to 50?
No, we don't need to add it
Why not?
because we know if we have the limit.
With the first one, we know with the
Yes.
first one, if it is greater than 50, we know that if it is false, it can be greater than 50, okay? So
Yes.
here, we only need to specify this part. Only this part. And again, then if this is not true, we know that it is lower than 30, so we get rid of this one. Okay, maybe it was, okay, so what was the more maybe? Then maybe it was larger than 50. And at the last one, the new syntax, I mean new, a few years, it's default equal to no. Okay, so this spaghetti code here, this spaghetti code actually transforms into this. Okay? like this. Isn't this much clearer?
Yes, it is.
So we transform that code to this one. And you see the people didn't understand how this works because it's logical. If it is greater than 50, I mean, if it is false, we already know that it can't be again lower than 50. This is completely overkill. And we just say quantity is greater than 30. We know that uh, if we would change the order, then we would have a problem. If we would start like greater than 30, okay, then we would have problem. Then this wouldn't work. So that's why we have to be careful. When we are doing the shorter version, the order is very important. Very important. You'll understand why, probably. If I would now mix the order, the logic would be completely different. Then I would have to go, like with that additional code. Otherwise, if I go in the right order, I don't need. Now, let's just run it. And you see, we get the same result, of course, but the code is much clearer. So this is something that you really, that exists, and sometimes AI will just write overkill of the code because it is trained on not so perfect code. The problem is in R because R code is not that common as Python code or React for front end in Python or some other language. Okay, React is its own language. So we talked about this. We also say that in the mutate, again, you can use the same as in relocate. So you have the after and you have the before, okay? So you don't have to add additional when you are creating a new one. By default, it will create a new column at the end of your data frame. So it will add the column at the end. Just imagine having like 200 columns. I can, in my career, one time, I got a data set which had, in Excel, of course, which had more than 1,000 columns. More than 1,000 columns. It was unbearable, really. This was, of course, from the doctors, medical doctors, who just added new and new and new stuff in this Excel. It was like, and when you added, uh, I added mutate, of course, it went to the last column, and then I was so confused because this was like the first time that I was doing something in R. Oh, it's at the end. Now you have here the before and the after attribute that you can use where to specify, where to add. Okay, now we will also, with the mutate, we will add some new stuff. For example, we have this is experimental feature. Mutate experimental. Okay, let's say that I want to create the percentage by every region. No, every region and the product, okay? If I look at the sales, okay, now even that short, what did I? No. Oh, now my keyboard, okay. Aha. Okay, so if I look at this and say head, okay. Now, come on. Yeah. Also have any problems with crashing?
No any problems.
No, Professor.
Okay. So you see here, I have, let's say, region and the category. Okay. I would like now to specify, calculate the percentage inside of every region by category. So I would like to have region. In every region, I would like to have all the categories. And for every category inside the region, I would like to see the percentage. So the total sales which I will create, what is this the percentage of the region total? Okay, so how do I do this? First, I have to specify region total. But if I now just create sum, no, I would have to use the, okay, let me first specify total sales is what? Unit quantity by unit price, okay? That is clear. If I now look at what I have here, I get the total sales. But this is for a certain order ID, okay? Now I have to get creative. If I now add here total sales, I would say parent total or total, okay, is sum of total sales. Now look what we will get. Okay, can you tell me what we got in this case? What is that parent total? Or is it really parent total? What I mean by parent total, that this is a total by region and by category.
No, I think is the total of total sales.
Yes, you are true. I'm missing here something. And what will most of the people tell you? It will tell you, okay, group by, okay, let's go only by region, okay? And here you have to do the ungroup so that you get rid of any potential groups created. Like this. Now, okay, so this is now a total of a certain region. Would you agree? Yes, I would agree. This is a total of a region. If I remove this part, okay, now. Let me, okay, I will filter here so that you will see. filter region. Okay, let's go with north. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so if you would count all these total sales, I mean, there are more than, okay, just remove it. Okay, it's like 38 of them. The sum of all these sales would be this. Do you agree? Okay, so now I can actually calculate percentage of region is total sales by parent total by 100 and it's rounded on 1 decimal, okay? Now let's run and remove this. Okay, I have to, it's the delay. Everything that I do, it delays. Okay, so I could also say arrange by total sales, okay? So see if you would calculate this is I guarantee you this is 8.5% of the parent total sales, okay? This one, that. So here we got the percentage of the total sale by region. So, okay, if I now remove this and say here, head, and again, okay? I see the calculations. But what if I tell you that you can get rid of this one and this one with the experimental features, like that one, and say here only by, and you would specify a region. So this is the experimental feature. The experimental feature, this by, that you don't need to use the group by. So the group by is by, okay? It's just by. You can use this by, dot by. And this really makes the code so much cleaner. You could also say here, now that we have it, you could say, okay, let's see the percentage of sales of region and product category. Okay. Another one here in if I run cell. So what do I have here now? And let me only display filter region, okay, east, and category, okay, electronics. Uh, 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 uh. No, this is actually not correct. East and electronic. That one before was definitely correct one. By C, category, and category is electronic. total sales, sum of total sales. So there, if this would be correct, then here it would have to be 100, and I don't get anything, which is of course not. Correct. Oh. Already I'm tired. You see, I had hat, okay? So, yeah. So now I have electronics. So I have 18 rows. This is the, if I would do the pluses, all this would be to that. And I can see that the laptop was the most lucrative, not lucrative, has the highest sales in the electronic group for the East region. 13%. 13%. Is this clear? So instead of group by, we're using the dot by feature. And if you look at the question mark and the dot by, no, it should be mutate. It will tell you that this is experimental. You see? So it's still experimental. Mm. And you have the same, okay? These are practical examples, ascending, descending, okay, multiple sort case, summarize. So you have the same experimental in the summarize. So for example, here, where we have group by product, you don't need to use it anymore. I know that the summarize was already used by you. You can just use the by product. Okay? Like this. Here you have group by category in region. No, we don't need it. We just use by and then see region and product category. Voila. Without group by ungroup. Count is the short one. Okay. We already talked about that, and you also told me that you already covered this. You have slice max. Now look at this one. Slice max, did you talk about slice max, slice mean, slice sample? So instead of, this one will return the top two products by quantity for every region. So if I run this, you see, for East was a keyboard and then the phone. For North, it was phone, okay? So it looks by the region, the sales, okay? Again, you can just skip this, but here you have by without dot, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, again, you're getting the best two orders by quantity, by region. You could say by region and category. Okay. So for south, it was first monitor, then the phones. So in the east, there were 2 time phones. So if I would also, instead of just this, give you everything, you would get 2 orders. So you see, the best 2 orders by quantity about the south, and the category were the monitor and the phones, order ID 58 and then the 80. For the east and the electronics, these two. Okay, maybe the category is too overwhelming. Let me go just by this. So these two were most units sold with these 2 orders. Okay, on the south, these 2 orders on the east. Also, you have slice min. Okay, slice min. See, I'm getting the lowest orders by quantity. Again, you have here exercises. Do them. Joining, the joins were already explained to you. I will, maybe we will talk them again a little bit by on Monday, because this is the old version of syntax. Old version. It's not by today's standards. Okay, it's joined by. It's by join, but I always mix them. Join by. Yeah. Join by. Not only by. See, it's join by. So this one is new. Dplyr, if you only have the by, because you see, then you have a problem. If you're using only by, you see how many times we're using the by. Okay. That's why the developers try to really do to distinguish that from the by. Join by. Okay. And pivot longer, pivot wider, you did this, and the across, we will go with the across on Monday. Across and summarize, we will talk about this on Monday. Voila!